point in my story, I feel that it is imperative, especially with the country that I'm living in. People can get very sue happy, and I ain't got no money, but they might still sue me, and it could still be a headache. I feel that I need to make a disclaimer. In telling your story, it can be dangerous for you, and I don't, you see the story from my perspective, and you begin to think that certain people are bad guys and good guys, and you don't know their story. And, because of that dynamic, because of everything, because of the court system, because of people's perceptions and how it can go, I cannot be fully honest and open with all parts of my story. This is a harsh realization for me to come to, because to me, this is my version of writing my book. I don't really want to write my book. This is my version of writing my book. But so because of that, just like someone that's writing a book, I am going to be changing names. I will be changing places. I will be changing events in some ways. I might be changing little characteristics of people. This is now going to be the fictional story of my life. This is not a revenge story. This is a healing story. So I will have to change some things up about my story. So I just want to put that disclaimer in at this point in my story, because if I just leave names out, it'll get more and more complicated. There's a lot of players, a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to change names. I'm going to change events. I'm going to change it. I'm going to tell my story and try to get my truth out there in the most fictional way that I can. So, wish me luck. And I can still get sued and still end up right back in the poorhouse for this. So, oh well. They might burn me at the stake. They already have. Let's do this again. I'm not going to shut up. So, F it. Here's my story. Oh my goodness. So, after I was completely rejected at this small little school in the middle of nowhere, I told my mother that I would not be going back to school again. When I told my mother that I wasn't gonna go back to school, and I was sleeping in and not doing anything all day long, this was a time in my life that I cursed God. I was cursing God. I wanted nothing to do with him. I was so angry at God. Right before my cousin died, not right before, like a couple months before, I remembered in my prayers praying about how much I love her and how thankful I am to have her in my life. Because, I don't know if you've noticed in my story, but I have been here, there, and everywhere. There is no stability. I don't know if you've noticed, there's none though. And I felt like best friends were forming. I had best friends, but not anymore. I'm not even in touch with my 5th grade best friend from the Greenbrier School. I loved and adored her, but I don't even, I'm not in touch with my 4th grade best friend. I'm not in touch with my 6th grade best friend from different schools, and it seems like the older we get, the harder it is to make a best friend, because best friends are like, we were there since we were little. We've always been together. There's like this always been together kind of vibe with best friends, And, yeah, it seems like I didn't really, I wasn't going to have that. I wasn't going to have it. And then, but with my cousin, I had it, because she also was here, there, and everywhere. And she understood. And we also had the same family. And so we were there on Thanksgivings. We were there together for Christmases and Easters. And having that ripped from me I was so mad. So mad. Mad at God. Who else could I blame? But I blamed God. Back to school. Again, here I am. I'm a straight A student. I've always done good in school. My mother's never had to worry about me with that. She's never had to worry about getting me up in the morning or getting me ready for school. My brother, she would have to battle with. But with me, it was easy, you know? I would get up, I would go to school. So after I told her I'm not going back to that school, I did not get up the next morning. And, you know, she yelled and screamed, and I wasn't going to get up. I wasn't going to go. The next morning, it was the same thing. The third morning, my mother sat down beside my bed and said, "Well, what do you want to do? You can't just lay here. You can't just... So what do you want? What are you going to do?" And I wasn't really sure. And she's like, "Well, if we went and enrolled you into one of these schools in the city," and it was a school right outside the city that I had a lot of friends in that went to that school. She said, "Would you go back to school?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so she did that. So my mother enrolls me at this school where I had a lot of friends, and it's also another small rinky-dink school, and we'll call this school Mountain Valley. So I enroll in Mountain Valley. So I had a lot of friends here, and I made a lot of friends here. And whenever I first moved there, though, it was like I was tested, small town tested, and I don't know. I guess I passed the test because I was able to make friends, and I was popular there. Right. Yeah, and I remember one of the boys. We'll call him Brent. Brent quizzed me, and he seen that I was indeed pretty smart, and was like, "She's pretty cool." And I hung out with him like the weekend right before I started school. I mean, I hung out with a lot of people, but he was there, and we hung out. And so whenever I started at Mountain Valley, Brent was like, he had my back and was like, "You better be nice to her. She's cool, and she's my friend, and be nice to her." And so everybody was nice to me, and that was cool. And I had my car, my little Isuzu Stylus, so I was living in that. But at this time, I didn't have to live in that because my cousin's best friend, I got to live with her. So I got to go live with my friend who her parents had moved up north, and she didn't get along at the school that she moved to up north. And so her parents decided to send her back down south and to have one of their friends who is an adult, and she has a little toddler girl living in her house, also taking care of my friend. And we'll call her Jerica. Okay? So Jerica's parents, you know, they weren't there, and she had her parents' friend watching over her, and so she was like, can my friend Misty also move in with us?" And so I moved in with them, and it was kind of fun at first, but it really went down south fast. Really, really fast. It was nice living with her, and we were going to school together and having a lot of fun. And then the lady that was watching us, you know, staying in the house and making sure that we could go to school and everything, she lost her mind. The lady got on meth. She got on meth. She lost her mind. She was going crazy. It was insane. But here's the thing. Jerica and I, we had no idea. We had no clue that she was on meth or that she had lost her mind because it happened so slowly, you know? And like this lady, she started getting out the Bible and she would read to us, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, you know, the adult in the house is reading the Bible to us. We need to listen." And then it got weird and out of hand pretty dang quickly. She started saying that it's the end of the world, it's the apocalypse, and me and Jerica, we have to be nailed into the house. She wouldn't let us leave the house at all. Like, we missed school because we weren't able to leave the house because it was the end of the world and the apocalypse were happening. And Jerica and I, she was like, oh my gosh, we got to get boys for y'all because you two have to be making babies for repopulating the world. We were like, oh my gosh. It became scary. It went from, this lady is going to teach us about the Bible, and this is really nice, to, oh my gosh, what the heck is going on here? So it was really crazy. And I remember we had to sneak out to go to school. Like, I think I remember that. And it was really crazy. It was crazy times. And after that was whenever I started living in my car for a little bit. And we had this group of girls, really, like, there was 4 of us that were really, really close. And that would be me and Jerica and our friend Kimber and Jennifer. And so, like, we were really, really close. And Kimber convinced her mom, like, Kimber and her mom, they had moved out, like, far out. And she convinced her mom to let me live with them and drive her to school because she would get tired at night and would fall asleep at the wheel, and it was dangerous driving home. And so her mom was like, yeah, that's a good deal. And this was, like, amazing for me. I felt so blessed to be taken into their home. Like, I understand Jerica. I was blessed for Jerica and her parents. I love her mom and I love her stepdad. And I really was blessed for her taking me in too. But with her, it was just like fun, and can you believe this? And this is going to be awesome. We're together. But with them, it was like, this is a blessing and I need to take this seriously. But she was just so nice and kind. Kimber's mother was. I loved her. And yeah, pretty much my only job, she would cook dinner for us, and she was really nice. And my only job was to drive Kimber around, and I loved this job. I loved it. And oh my gosh, the stuff that we would get into, because, of course I would pick up, I'd pick up Jerica and Jennifer and with me and Kimber, and we would go out and we would have so much fun. And yeah, pretty much every single afternoon from school, we would be getting together after school to have fun and just hang out, really. And yeah, sometimes at school, Kimber and I would decide to just leave at lunch, and we would go get like Taco Bell or McDonald's and come back, because we didn't want school lunch. We wanted good lunch. So it was fun times. It really was. So yeah, I started riding around in Kimber's car, and I'm going to Mountain Valley, and it's cheerleading tryout time again. And Jennifer's trying out for cheerleading, and she's made cheerleading most years at Mountain Valley. And she's wanting me to try out, and she was encouraging me not to give up on my cheerleading dreams just a year earlier. And so, yeah, I try out. And I put my all into it. I wanted to make it. If I made it, that would be my senior year as a cheerleader. And so I was excited, and I tried out and I made it. So that was awesome. So things started to look better for me towards the end of my 11th grade year. So I think that's all that I got for you guys today. I thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope that you're enjoying the series. Hope you're getting something out of it. And always be blessed with love. That's all she got.